Hello everybody, Christian from Treasure Town here, and if you haven't seen one of these videos before, I've been having a ton of fun with going through a large collection of French and German accounting tokens, Jetons, that I purchased in a series of auctions, and this is going to be 22 different ones all across France. So a lot of the ones that we've been buying have been like a specific ruler or something like that, but in this case, it's just a mixed group of 22, mostly copper. There's going to be a few brass ones thrown in because that's sort of what it has been so far. But looks like some interesting material here. A lot of these were purchased, it looks like, about 20 years ago, and it's nice to have the provenance with the flips. So I'll play the intro and the sponsorship, and then show you, we'll be going coin by coin basically. I'll do the first one here. Ooh, that one looks pretty interesting. I don't know exactly what it means. He doesn't either, 1600s, and it probably means that there's less of a clear look to it, but let's see what this says. Beat, key, tellet, SVP, egen v et pav, pere. So there was a lot of like Latin. The LD might refer to like Ludovicus, but also could be some sort of a mint script or a mint master. So not the best one probably to lead off on to give you a good sense of what these coins are going to look like. We'll see if this one, this one looks like a much more traditional 1602. Yeah, that looks familiar. Could be Poseidon with his trident going through the water, but the arms of France and Navarre. So, very clear. Henricus Henry IV. I think he was, more brief reign, 1580 to 1610. But, we'll go through. I'll play the sponsorship and be right back in a moment. So, I'm not sure exactly with which one we should start, but I'll just go here. And one of the cool things in the past has been just pulling out some incredible coins like our last one. And this is really neat. Discordia Max, you see a handshake here, clasped hands, a crown, and the three, fleur-de-lis, basically. I don't really know what it means. It's a pretty thin feeling jeton. Clearly no sort of thought was put into the orientation of the dies when they made it, but let's see if we know. Okay, Henry II. So this says rare. That does, I could agree with this being rare in the sense that Henry II, much lesser known, or not lesser known, but just didn't really reign for that long, so there's going to be a lot fewer jetons with him on it. Ooh, wow. This happened on the last video that we did where there were some just incredible, 1723, and look at all of that text. A copper jeton, Jean-Baptiste Novel, traces of luster. Yeah, there's not only traces, but especially when you hold it in the right light, there's like really incredible luster on this, and it is clearly referencing Jean-Baptiste du Roi Maison, the king of the house, Cour de France, something of France. I don't know if it's courier or something. Et de ses finances, so he's like the courier of the finances of France. And Jean-Baptiste, I don't know. I don't have exactly the grasp on the more medieval French, but really, really nice luster that stands out as being probably a lot more than I paid for it, which is good. Let's see what this next one. Charles IX, 1566 coin here. This one is a little bit more worn, but some interesting things going on. Looks like a double punch on that R, the V. Maybe it didn't. They'd often punch individually into the dies, the lettering that would be used. And a really nice intricate scene with a fire there on the reverse. Again, I've said this on the unboxings of a lot of these coins, like probably going to keep more of these than I should. Like normally when I buy a big group like this, I'm going to sell almost, maybe 85% of it, but like even just the eye appeal of all these fleur-de-lis on a 1634 reign of Louis the 13th, with just an interesting animal scene there, really neat and fun to learn more about. At least I'm going to be selling these pretty slowly, just to be totally honest. If I do sell some of them, which to free up more capital to go buy more coins and add to my own collection and hopefully make a little bit of money, I will need to do. But this one is a 1564 Charles IX brass jeton again, with some inscriptions in Hebrew. Let's check out, where's the Hebrew inscription? trust en Dieu. I'm not. Latin and French, obviously. Oh, there it is. Look at that in the sun. That's really cool to see Hebrew on a French jeton from the 1500s. Super neat. And wow, this one, really interesting design. I like that this is, a lot of, this just says brass jeton 1577. We don't know quite as much about it. Let's see what it says on the reverse. Much more worn. And I don't know off the top of my head which ruler was in place in 1577. So I'm sorry about that. But, clearly interesting, like an eagle or something rising from the fire, or in its nest with two baby eagles feeding it. And clearly a lot of wear. These would have been on accounting boards being shuffled around, sort of like that. And then they just really do remind me of the look of colonial copper, which was being struck at this time or a little bit later. That's why I like them so much. But of course, colonials, the market on that, even though the market has been maybe a little bit soft on colonial stuff, it's still so much higher than this one. Charles Leclerc, I don't know who that is. Maybe the person who made the jeton, but something Iwa Anua Cura. So. Not totally sure what would have been going on in 1742 that would have prompted that design, but it's a neat one. Maria Adelaide Ducisa Burgundy, so somebody from Burgundy, a youthful head, 1706. This one reminds me of like palmetto tree and South Carolina, but what an interesting design. Looks like a garden, and we see, Maria Adelaide, so Ducisa, maybe like a Duchess of Burgundy. I don't exactly know, but really, really cool piece of history. And again, these have wear, but often are less worn than a lot of the coins would have been because they wouldn't have been trading around in everyday commerce. So they preserve the history a lot better. 1638 brass jeton, city view, and the arms here. Nice star, and I really like these clouds. I've seen them on a few different jeton coins, and they look awesome. All those crosses too. Very interesting Christian imagery on that one. 1638. Let's see. Oh, I was hoping that this would be copper. I'm just a big fan. The brass jetons are great, but I think the copper looks even slightly better. Here we see the Hans Krauwinkel, who was minting a bunch out in Germany from Nuremberg. And there we see, Nuremberg for France. Little cruder in terms of the placement of the die. It's not fully centered, but, maybe it's broad strike. I don't know exactly how they were striking these. I assume that they were not cast, but, they look struck to me. I'm not totally sure, but rocker or roller die, not totally sure what that means, but maybe that has to reference what could be the king on the horse. Anyways, very cool little Hans Krauwinkel jeton, and very used to seeing him on the German material. This one from Fun 2007, so much more recent purchase relative to a lot of the stuff in this collection. Another Nuremberg jeton. This one, ooh, wow. Busts of Henry IV and Marie de Medici. So interesting. I always like the dual bust coins, and a very thin planchet, so that's why we see, the strike quality isn't quite as good, but really, really neat. Again, all these coins, this one, to have that placed and, nice copper look to it. Such a cool thing. This one is a little bit smaller here. Religious jeton. I don't know what that really means. We see SC, or SG. Okay, I was going to say it's super reminiscent of like some of the sestertii and the really ancient, Roman imperial copper coins. But I don't quite know what this means as much, but it'll be a fun research project for me after the video. That guy sort of looks like okay, it says religious jeton. Yeah, I was going to say it looks like a bishop. But also curious because it's a much smaller token in terms of the planchet surface size compared to a lot of what we've been seeing. Very neat here, 1587 Charles III from 1543 to 1608. That is a long reign, 65 years. Copper jeton, and maybe that answers 1587. Yeah, who would have been reigning at 1577 when I didn't know before, but looked pretty clearly French. So this one, a neat scene there. In the clouds, but over like a cityscape, city view, little bridge there. Very nice. And we've got a fair amount left. I've been going a little slower than I normally do through these, so I'll try to speed it up. But here we see Auspice non alio 1682. So cool. A little bit more worn. That looks like a big ship or a galleon, maybe. Yeah, 3 ships at sea with God above. Very neat. It was very naval focused society at this point. This, whoa, look at all that on the, all for, ooh, it looks sort of like, you know, that reminds me of like a Chinese dragon somewhat. It's not, but a youthful bust of the Grand Dauphin Louis, a close-fitting child's cap, lace collar. This guy really went all out on his description here, but wearing the coronet of a fils de France. Fils, I think, was son or boy of France. A metallic jeton on the birth of the eldest son of Louis the 14th. Wow. So check that. I mean, what I'm holding in my hand is a commemorative issue that's commemorating a son's birth in 1661. That's really neat. They're saying they're not sure exactly who. Oh, wow. This says Louis, maybe the 9th, worn as an amulet, scarce, hold, and corroded. But this could be Christ before cross, cross within circles. Let's see. Ludovicus Eudovicus Rex, worn as an amulet. Wow. Louis the 9th, I think, would have been much older. So this is, oh, wow. And you really do see Jesus Christ on the cross speared. Much older than anything else that we have in this lot of coins. So I'm going to be doing more research. I may hold on to that one, put it in my collection. Just, you know, I'm Christian, so I'll probably, you know, I have some interest in anything depicting the religious history. But let's see what this one says. This one is going to be different, you know, Chambre des Comptes du Roi, 1576. Not totally sure everything that means, but I think probably presumably 300 francs was the original purchase price for it, which oh, and there we see, wow, Numismatique Rue de Richelieu, Maison Plate, the coin company that this was purchased from over 20 years ago. Good provenance, which, as I've been learning a lot more about ancient coins, is something that people care a lot more with this sort of material as opposed to some of the others. And that one looks awesome. 1742 Royal Tresor. Similar, you know, it has a little bit of like reddish luster to it, but nowhere near some of the other stuff that I've looked at. 1742, though, again, so old, and nice to have the exact date. Here we have the Bourgogne, 1688, Hercules as Victor, and it feels like a larger one. It is, and what an incredible, you know, it looks like some dismembered bodies on the coin. Wow. But commemorating some of his, you know, État de Bourgogne, states of, yeah, Burgundy or Bourgogne. Anyways, one of the more significant coins, I think, that was in this group. I'm still a fan of that, 1723, talking about the finance minister. But here, 1615, France, copper jeton, marriage of Louis and Anna of Austria. Wow, with some incrustation. But 1615, you know, again, a commemorative marriage token, over 400 years old, and to be still preserved in that state is so cool. So thank you for watching this video. I've been having a lot of fun going through them. Again, this one by far my favorite, and it seemed like the, you know, person who sold it knew that, because they had it especially separated from the other stuff, but traces of luster all over it. And yeah, look forward to seeing you soon. I think I have a few more unboxings of these to go, to be totally honest, but going to be hanging on to most of them for a long time, and probably putting some away permanently in my own collection. Like, could definitely see me doing that with this one, and, you know, maybe a mix of a few others. Thanks for watching the video. Be sure to like, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to Treasure Town, and get in touch with me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Also, check out my website, treasuretowncoins.com, for news and updates related to the channel and collectibles in general. Lastly, there's a link tree in the description with links to all of my other sites, as well as some affiliate links that can support the channel. But with that being said, have a great day, and I'll hope to see you on some of my videos in the future.